So, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm MadMac.
So, how long have you been on YouTube?
Probably about like 3 years or so.
3 years. Wow.
Maybe 4.
3 or 4 years. Wow. And what is your channel about?
Basically gaming and music. I will do gaming, I will do music, I will do music about gaming, I will do gaming about music.
That sounds fun. So, anyway, so we wrote down, like, we had like kind of like the pre-interview that the one that we will not air, you know, pretty much. And so pretty much I heard video games. So pretty much I wrote down some things about some video game kind of topics that we can talk about, and then we can kind of go from there. So,
all right.
So, pretty much new versus old, pretty much new video games versus old video games. Your topic. So, I mean, your idea on the topic. So go.
My idea on the topic?
Yeah.
I don't really know exactly what you mean by that.
I mean, pretty much like, the new games versus the old games, being the old style of video games, being the 8 to 16-bit video games versus the new, like, Xbox 360 and Xbox One and all of that. Compare the two.
Like, just in general?
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
specific series?
Yeah, just in general.
I don't really know if there's that much of a comparison between the two types. They're so very different because they were around in very different time periods. And obviously there was the growth of technology and stuff, but like even then, like the style of video games has become a lot different since then. Before, like way back when, it was all about sort of getting a high score. Games would just go on forever, and you just tried to keep beating your score, and then you tried to, people made games about, getting to the end, and it was all about the adventure. And then now it's basically just become a shooting fest for most of like the first-person shooters and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like now we have like single-player campaigns in Call of Duty that last like 15 minutes tops.
Yeah, I remember that. I know. I'd go through, like, my first Call of Duty game was Modern Warfare 2, just because everybody on Xbox Live was telling me about it, saying, "Hey, you gotta get Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2." That's all I heard all the time. So I was like, okay. So I went and bought Modern Warfare 2, and I went through the campaign, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. This is, fun. And, like, the whole campaign lasted me maybe 30, 45 minutes, and I'm like, that's it? That's all it is? And then it says, oh, now you can go on Xbox Live and play Modern Warfare 2 online. And I'm like, oh, okay, this will be fun. This should be, and all of a sudden there's like 5 million unlockables that take about, each time to unlock you got to make about 500 kills per unlock, And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah. You just sort of, it was that point when you realized that that's where the money is the online nowadays.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this is annoying now. It got annoying. Then it's like a grind fest at that point.
Yeah, that's one of the things I actually hate about stuff like RPGs, is all the fucking grinding. Like Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. A lot of people have a problem with the dialogue in that game. I don't. I'm fine with extensive dialogue periods. It's moving the story forward. Yeah. What I hate is the grinding, because you're sitting there in the same part of the game, just going back and forth, killing enemies, getting coins or firepower or whatever, and just I hate it so much.
Oh yeah.
I just want to be able to play a game and play the whole thing through.
Yeah, I fully understand you on that. It's like I went and when I first got my Wii, it was, the Wii had been out for maybe a year and a half, 2 years when I first got it, and the game that I got with it was first, I think it was Mario Galaxy, and then after that, the second game I got was Spider-Man, not Shattered Dimensions, but the one with Venom in it, where Venom's like made children or something. They're coming after everybody. I forgot what the name of the stupid game was, but one of the Spider-Man games. Anyway,
okay,
that game has so much grinding in it that it's monotonous. it's like here's the main story, and you're like, oh, that's a good story. You go through about 15 minutes of the main story, then it's like, oh, you got to help these people. I'm like, oh, okay. What does this have to do with anything? No, it didn't have anything to do with it. Just help them. Okay. Oh, Rhino's breaking out a bank. What does this have to do with the main story? Oh, it doesn't. Just do it. And then you got about 30 different submissions before you can get back to the main story.
Oh, that sucks,
man.
And
I was like, after a while I was playing this, I'm like, why am I doing this? And then all of a sudden Wolverine shows up. I'm like, what does he have to do with this?
Wait, Wolverine showed up in a Spider-Man?
Yeah, Wolverine shows up, and then all of a sudden the symbiote, the Venom symbiote attacks Venom, and it becomes Venom Wolverine.
That's so stupid.
I know. I was like, oh, are we really doing Venom Wolverine now? I was like,
yeah, at this point I probably would have just not ever picked up the game.
Yeah,
again.
at that point I played a little bit of it, and then there's a stupid escort mission that I couldn't finish. I was like, you know what, screw this crap. I turned it off, and I never played it since. I was like, have we really degraded to this point?
Yeah, and the sad thing is just sort of that, like, not all modern games are like this, but that's the idea that people have with modern gaming. Before, the shift was on the high score, and then the shift was on going through a story, and then now it's become just completely fucking around and doing absolutely nothing useful to the main plot.
Exactly.
You know, as much as Zelda games are filled with little side quests, you don't have to do all of them. They're for extra bonuses. They're not to be able to play through the entire game.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get to the end of the game without doing all of those side quests. I think you have to do a couple, but that's not so bad.
Yeah, like my favorite mini game in an entire Zelda game was that fishing one in Ocarina of Time.
And that had nothing to do with the main plot at
Nothing.
all.
I spent hours on that game, just that mini game. I spent hours on it.
And you know what? When I was playing Super Mario Sunshine when I was a little kid, I would constantly run around and do nothing of substance, but at least I didn't have to do that to
exactly.
play the game. It would have been monotonous if I had to do that on my way to beat the game. No, I was just fucking around. I just didn't care at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
If I did care and I had to do, like, running around and, you know, spraying all of the people covered in goop, like, that's not fun or engaging.
No.
It's boring.
Yeah, exactly.
Fighting Petey Piranha is interesting.
Yeah. Especially when you're fighting him on that roller coaster thing. That was fun.
Uh-huh. You don't fight Petey Piranha.
No, you fight Mecha Bowser.
Yeah.
Man, it's been so long since I played that game.
No, it's all right. It's been a while since I played it too. I thought I was like, what are you talking about? Is this something I forgot about? I'm pretty sure that was Mecha Bowser.
Yeah, it was Mecha Bowser, who was actually being piloted by Bowser Jr.
Yeah. Oh, spoilers.
Oh, spoilers. Yeah, really. Spoilers of like what?
For a fucking 10-year-old, no, like a
15-year-old game.
14, 13-year-old game. Wow, holy shit, I feel old.
Jeez, how do you think I feel? I got that when I was in junior high.
Yeah, I got that when I was like still wearing pull-ups. I remember there was like, I think episode 8 of Peanut Park actually was like you had to go on the roller coaster again and pop balloons or something.
Yeah.
With the little rocket.
I remember that.
Doohickeys.
I never finished that, but I do remember that.
Yeah, it was dumb. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I like the game, but I don't like that. A lot of people don't like Mario Sunshine.
It's very difficult, I will say.
Well, I don't know, they think that it's like a stupid kids game or whatever. I'm like, fuck you, man.
It's not. It's difficult. I will remember like screaming at my television many a time when playing that game.
Oh, believe me, I know that feel. I would like be in a fit of tears from that game. I would have to like pause it and go out and take a walk.
Yeah.
Around the block.
Exactly. I know. Yeah. So let's talk about this favorite video game.
For me, it's been pretty consistent for a long time. It's probably Metroid Prime.
Ah, Metroid Prime. I remember got that for Christmas when I turned about 13 years old.
13. Wow. I think with me it was like 5.
I don't feel old.
And I couldn't play it because like it scared me too much. So, but then like when I got older, I was like, okay, this isn't that scary. But because of that, now in any kind of game like that, I'm always like super freaked out about any enemies coming my way in a 3D game. I'm just sort of too immersed. And basically, I've developed a mentality that if it moves, it dies. And the only reason I don't like panic when I'm playing Prime is because I've played it so many times.
Oh, yeah.
That I know it inside and out. A guy could come down from the ceiling and it's just like, yeah, I know you're there. Ice, missile.
Don't play the Evil Within then.
Oh god, that doesn't sound very fun for me.
It's a psychological game.
Huh?
It's a psychological game. Look it up sometime on YouTube. It's fun.
I hate psychological games. I hate horror games in general.
It's a horror game, but it's also psychological.
Yeah, psychological horror is some of the worst because it like really gets to you.
Yeah.
Even if it's something that shouldn't be that scary, it's all about like building you up, this sort of suspense that you know something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, even if it's underwhelming, it still freaks you out because it's just long enough for you to let your guard down.
Yeah, exactly. Which goes on to my favorite game, would have to be the original Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, man.
That was my favorite game. That brings back so many... When I play that game, I think of Christmas time. Every time when I play it, I think of Christmas time. Because when I got it for Christmas. Me and my brother, we got that game for Christmas, and we got that, and then back a couple layers when Banjo-Tooie came out, we got that. So, I mean, it's kind of between Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, but I always have to go to Banjo-Kazooie because that's always has a special heart when, you know, my family was whole, when my brother used to live at home, and, you know, we're all back, you know, and stuff, and it was just Christmas time and everybody was happy, and, you know, we'd always gather around the TV and play. Me and my brother played until about the wee hours of the morning, and the next morning we played till about 2-3 in the morning. We got the game at about 12 o'clock, and we got till about the 5th, 6th level, and it's about 2 in the morning the next day. You know, I mean, we really enjoyed that. I mean, if I couldn't get a part, I'd give control to him. I'd say, hey, Garrett, why don't you do this? He's like, all right. He'd work on it, and he'd get it, and then after he got it, he'd hand it back to me, and I'd play the rest of it. It was so much fun.
Yeah. It's kind of like with the original Rock Band. Whenever I play that game, I always think of summertime because that's when I got it. And that's when I played it a lot. Was that summer?
Yeah.
That's kind of also how I think of with like certain songs I'll play on like guitar or whatever. It kind of just reminds me of summer because that's when I maybe composed the song or learned the song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I remember when we got Christmas, we got 3 games. We got Banjo-Kazooie, Wave Race 64, and Super Mario 64.
Nice.
Yeah. And that was so much fun, but we don't like Wave Race we'd play like every now and then, you know, that'd be something like we'd always do, and I'd always go to Super Mario, my brother would always go to Super Mario 64, and I would too from time to time, but me and my brother, we would always go to Banjo-Kazooie, always. That was our favorite game growing up.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I talk to him every now and then, we talk about that old Nintendo 64, which I still got, you know, and I still got all the original games that we played on it, and we were talking about it the other day, and I said, remember Banjo-Kazooie? He goes, oh man, I forgot about that. He said, that was a fun game. He said, that was so much fun. I was like, it was, wasn't it? He said, yeah. He said, I miss doing that. I said, you got an Xbox? He goes, yeah. I said, you got Xbox Live? He goes, yeah. I said, it's on the Xbox Live arcade. Go download it. He goes, you got to be kidding.
He's like, what?
He goes, you're kidding me. I was like, no, it's on the Xbox Live arcade. Go on the arcade, look up Banjo-Kazooie and download it. He goes, already did. He said, it's downloading right now.
That's me.
As we're on the phone, it was so funny.
Yeah, that's like something I would do. Sounds like someone tells me like, oh, they got like Need for Speed Most Wanted on the Wii U shop channel thing. I'm gonna be like, what are you talking about? I already got it.
Yeah, exactly.
I clicked it as you started talking.
Yeah. He said, as soon as I heard the words Banjo-Kazooie, I started looking it up. He said, my girlfriend's got a couple of credits on here. He said, I doubt she'll care if I use a couple of them. And I was like,
Later that day, we see an argument.
Later that day, we see a closed door. We don't want to know what's going on behind it.
It's just like I just like imagine like during one of those like at the end of one of those like cheesy like romantic comedy things at the end where it talks about like the future of all of the like main characters involved.
Yeah.
And it's just like Clay's brother's girlfriend broke up with him later that day. They never got back together.
Yeah, really.
She still has all the remaining credits. He still has Banjo-Kazooie. Point Clay's brother.
Yes. Yes. He now wishes to obtain Banjo-Tooie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, so I've been like reading the news and stuff, and I've been hearing about like I actually turned on I think ABC News or something the other day, and they're talking about this thing called swatting.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
They just sort of like there'll be these like people who will like find out about like this person's like home address and their Facebook and their phone number on this shit, and they'll call the cops on them, and they got the SWAT team like handcuffing them, just like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I was reading an article, and there's a kid about 19 years old, lives in Canada actually, and he actually had over 30 cases of false reports to local United States police departments in various cities in the United States, and he actually got arrested and was sentenced to life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I know.
Fair punishment.
Yeah, fair punishment. And then there's this one kid. He I forgot his handle, but like something God, I remember that. But he just recently he was arrested and sentenced to about 5 years for swatting. For calling the SWAT team on on random people because he didn't like them, or they said something he didn't like, or he thought it was funny. I don't know what to say about all of that. It's just freaking crazy if you ask me. I mean, why would somebody want to do that? I mean, what is the perk of swatting?
Well, what's the purpose of trolling? They are obviously sadistic assholes and idiots who like don't care about other human beings and just want to get a cheap laugh out of other people's misery in the worst possible way.
Yeah, very true.
Like if that happened in a comedy thing, like sketch, like there would be ways to make that funny. It's not funny in real life. It's just sad.
No. That, and there's a potential that, since that's a very high tense situation, that those cops are literally going into that house thinking, okay, this is a hostage situation, someone's dead, someone's a maniac, they're thinking the worst possible scenarios.
Yeah.
They're going in there. I mean, they could an inexperienced cop or a rookie or something going into this situation could freak out, or someone could make the wrong move or something and end up killing somebody.
Well, that's why you don't send rookie cops on that serious of missions, or if you're going to, you prep them to make sure they're not going to do anything stupid, and if they are, you don't send them.
Yeah, or that, or somebody reacts in a hostile way and they end up shooting them.
Yeah, that's one of the things though, is like if you're innocent of any crime and that you're being arrested for, like you have a right to be mad, but at least be cooperative, because otherwise they're going to find excuse after excuse to put you in jail even if you are innocent.
Yeah,
just cooperate with them. Don't be an asshole.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what it boils down to.
Justice will prevail and all that stuff, to quote Rundus from Prime 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Justice will prevail and all that stuff. Right, Samus?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then that kind of like, I don't know, it kind of goes, hand in hand with that whole Gamergate deal.
Oh, yeah.
Where, the whole feminism and all of that crap.
I didn't think it had anything to do with feminism.
It does and it doesn't. There's a lot of it that I'm not really 100% sure on. I've watched a bunch of videos about it, trying to figure out what it is. There's really not a clear answer on like a definition of it is this. It's a general kind of thing. It's like, it's this, but then it could be this. It might be this. There's not really a definite, it's one thing.
From what I've heard, Gamergate is just like a collection of people who are saying, like, we are not, like, just fucking idiots who close ourselves in our mother's basement and are 46 years old. Like, the gaming world is really diverse. Or is that anti?
No, that's pretty much for it. That's pretty much people saying, no, we're not like that. And then you got people like on the other side who are like going on Twitter and stuff and putting hashtag Gamergate. Some gamer asked me about something. Is that considered sexual harassment? Or something stupid like that.
Yeah. Just.
And I'm sitting there like I'm reading all these stuff like it's mostly on Twitter, and I'm like reading Twitter, all these Gamergate Twitter handles and all these crappy stuff, and I'm like, really? Do you people literally have nothing better to do with your time?
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling of how stupid people are nowadays.
Yeah, well, people have been stupid for a long time, but it's just that with the advent of the internet, now we can see it in fucking Technicolor.
Yeah, exactly. It can be brought right into our laps instead of them being stupid by themselves at their home without letting anybody else know about it.
Or like with their friends who know they're stupid anyway.
Yeah, and somehow put up with that crap.
Well, I mean, like, there are certain people where, like, there are reasons why you hang out with them besides, like, you don't care that they're stupid because there's other reasons why you enjoy having them as company. Maybe you're an idiot too. It's kind of like, why the hell does SpongeBob hang out with Patrick? By that logic,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but anyway, I don't know. That's a topic that pretty much opens up a whole can of worms right there.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to get too much into that because I don't want to say something that's going to make people too pissed off at me.
I don't give a crap.
Yeah, I know you don't. I do.
Yeah, I know.
My life, not yours.
Yeah, true that. True. But yeah. So if anybody on listening to this doesn't know, you and me did the first creepypasta on this channel.
Yeah. I think it was Nightmare's Revenge.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Nightmare's Revenge. You did Nightmare.
Yeah, I did a couple of voices. I remember I did Nightmare. I did what the hell was that guy's name? The main character.
Like Luke or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I know, like, my mom did.
Ethan. It was Ethan.
Ethan, right.
Yeah. And
I did a lot of, I can't keep track of how many, I think I did like 4 voices. My mom did Lyra, Lyra something.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That came out really good. I liked how that one came out.
Yeah. Oh. Yay for bumping the microphone.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a fun project.
Yes, it was.
I remember I also I did one solo on yours, which was Blue Kings, and I also put that on my channel. Yeah.
Blue Kings came out pretty good. We need to do another one at some point.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been kind of. I don't really read that many creepypastas anymore, and I don't really like narrate them nearly as often. I've done like one in recent memory, which was for the Creepmas Countdown thing. I did Dog Found.
Oh, yeah. I was going to do that, but then no one really kind of told me what I needed to do or anything. So I just I was waiting for somebody to tell me something. I never heard anything. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm not part of this then.
I don't know.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah, that is weird. I think they would have told you. They told me. They were just like, you got to read a story and send it to this person. I was like, okay.
Yeah, they said, you need to read a story, and I'm like, okay, what story? Well, we'll get with you on that. Okay, I was like, and also, where do I send it in? Never told me where to send it in, never told me what story to do, didn't tell me what stories were already done, didn't say a thing. Yeah,
it's kind of an asshole thing to do, but you know.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I kind of need to know what I need to do before I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. Anyway, so, pretty much, what got you into... What was your first creepypasta that you read?
I believe my first creepypasta I read was Ben, and I don't remember how I got into it. I think someone referenced it in a YouTube video, and I was like, what the hell are they talking about? And so I just sort of like looked it up. I looked up Ben Drowned, and I got the Ben creepypasta, and I was reading it, and I was like, oh my god. Like, I knew it was going to be like a scary story, so like I was prepared for that. So I kind of made that association very easily, but it was still like, it was the first one I read, and to date, it's kind of one of the creepiest to me, because it kind of felt the most real for as absurd as the story actually is.
Yeah.
Like, all of the, like, actions of the character seem very real. Like, this is the way a human would react to this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, he turned off the game. He went and tried to do other things. And it was apparently, you know, like, Ben controlling him and telling him to do this stuff. Like, he wasn't doing it. He wasn't just sitting there like, oh my god, that's so weird and freaky. That didn't happen before. Let's keep playing. Herp-a-derp.
Sonic EXE.
Sonic .exe. Oh, that's so scary. Let's keep playing. Oh, there's hyper-realistic blood everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a rule of thumb. Any fucking story that uses hyper-realistic at all is shit. Just right there. There are so many better ways to put that. You could just say realistic. You could explain the realisticness of it if it's going to be out of place.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I never really went too crazy with creepypastas, to be honest. Like, they've always sort of been a thing that I've done, like, when someone tells me about something, I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll read it. I'll say I do have a preference for the actual, like, creepy stories, rather than just sort of, like, you know, every character in this show or game is based off of a dead person or whatever. Or, like, I don't know, I don't really like theory creepypastas, you know what I mean? Like, the ones that are set up, like, that are theories about a show. Like, as much as I love Cabot, and I did enjoy the Billy and Mandy theory pasta.
Yeah, I did that one on mine. I liked that one. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was well made, but I don't generally enjoy those, so they have to be really well made for me to like them. And
yeah,
I feel like if it were sort of a more stereotypical, quote unquote, creepypasta, then I probably would have liked it a lot more than I did.
Yeah.
Because he's a good writer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the first, like, I mean, I've seen, like, kind of creepypastas, like, you know, scary comics or something like that. Like, did you ever look up those Korean comics?
No.
I shared that with you one time, a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. I think so. I don't remember what it looked like, though. I mean, you showed me Boku.
Yeah, it's kind of like anime-looking kind of thing, but it was super creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Oh, yeah, I remember it now.
Yeah, that thing.
And
anyway,
it didn't actually freak me out too much. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have sound off and you're kind of expecting that to happen, then it's not going to be scary. But if you just walk in there unexpecting at all, not knowing a thing about it, you know, thinking it's just a story, and then that happens, yeah, it's going to be kind of frightful, I would say.
I remembered I was gonna go into it with the sound off, and I was like, "Fuck it, I ain't gonna be a pussy. I'll turn the sound on." It wasn't that much better. Like, it wasn't that much worse.
Yeah, but you already knew what you're getting yourself into.
Good point.
Yeah, I didn't when I first did it.
Yeah, I know. I remember it scared the bejesus out of you.
Yeah, apparently that was fun. But yeah, that was like, I wouldn't even really, I mean, that was my first like scary creepypasta-esque kind of thing, but I really wouldn't consider that a creepypasta, honestly.
Yeah, it's not really. It's just sort of a horror comic.
I'd have to say my first one would have to be Jeff the Killer would be my first real creepypasta that I actually really, really read and was like, is this real? Did this really happen? Is this person actually out there?
I went into Ben, and I knew that creepypastas were supposed to be these stories where they could be real and they could be not. I just sort of have this theory that pretty much all of them aren't true. I can't think of one off the top of my head that seemed actually real to me. As well made as Ben.
Mario is supposedly real.
Huh?
I said the creepypasta Mario is supposed to be real.
I know, but it's not. Spoilers. Like, as well made as Ben was, like, I never even thought for a moment that it actually happened. Once you start talking about a game that's haunted, my suspension of disbelief has to kick in. Then I know it's not real.
Yeah, exactly.
If it were just supposed to be a hack, I mean, the possibilities are like endless with hacks. People can go into the game's code and even code new things into it. Like, you know, it's just sort of what happens. But, like, when you start talking about it being haunted by this kid who drowned himself in a lake or whatever, or his pool or something, it's like, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that this is the extent of the stupid things in your story, and I'll keep reading. Thankfully it was.
Yeah, exactly.
It was also the only creepypasta I've ever read that did the old man thing correctly. And I don't know what it did differently, but somehow it worked.
Yeah, it did. I don't remember exactly what it did, but I remember it working for some weird reason. I don't remember why.
I think it's because you kind of believed the old man at first. Like, it was a believable scenario where he's kind of, you think he's maybe gone senile and called you, like, Ben or whatever. Like, you just sort of, it's believable.
Yeah, exactly.
That he might have been selling these games that belong to his, like, grandkid or whatever that doesn't go there anymore.
Yeah, right.
So I think that's the thing, is that it's got to be believable and it's got to have a point.
Right, exactly. You know, but I mean, some are like look at Jeff. I mean, that one, it's sort of believable, I will say.
Kinda.
But it's not 100% believable.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when I first read it, I mean, I wasn't really going into it like thinking that it, you know, giving it any form of disbelief. And I was giving it some form of, you know, okay, I'll give this the benefit of the doubt, you know, like it was an actual news story. And it kind of freaked me out there at first, but then after a while of, you know, listening to it and everything, and then kind of like really just kind of dissecting it for a while, I kind of learned that, okay, this is bullcrap. The likelihood of this happening is about 1 in a million.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, with the human population as high as it is, that's pretty decent odds that it would happen somewhere at some point.
You know,
more like 1 in 20 billion.
Yeah, or something like that. I'm sitting like, I mean, for all of these things to line up perfectly. 1, he's like 12 years old. Okay. 2, these bullies show up. They don't know who they are. They've never met him a day in their life. They had just moved there. And these bullies show up to harass them. Why? What's their motivation for doing this?
They're assholes?
Here's what it is. Everybody does something because either somebody wronged them, they don't like them, they've done something with them in the past to mess with them. in
Yeah.
some way.
Yeah.
That's why bullies exist. Bullies don't just pick up random people. They find people they know, they've met, and they bully them that way. They don't just pick up random people.
You
They
have
don't
not been
know.
bullied very much, have you? From random people? Because I've been bullied a lot from people like that. Like,
I mean, in a sense, yes. I mean, if you like in a fish tank, but I'm saying like, you know, they're not even in school yet. They've never even seen these people yet. You know, so it's. I'm saying it in that sense.
okay.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
That and then they understand they're 12 years old and they have knives, and then later on they have guns. I mean, where'd they get guns from? And
This takes
what
place
12
in the U.S., doesn't it?
Yeah,
They probably
it's
just
supposed
borrow
to.
their
What?
dad's guns.
Maybe, but I mean, seriously, I don't know any 12-year-old who has access to a gun.
You don't live in the, like, deep south.
Well, I do live in Oklahoma.
That's not deep south. I'm talking,
Well,
like, Missouri. I think
Yeah,
that's
and
deep
apparently
south.
this place takes like in Montana or somewhere. I don't really remember where.
Oh. Well, then, you know.
You know, I don't know. But anyway, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then all of a sudden, like Jeff going insane. I mean, there would have had to be like major red flags going off before then to show that was happening. That his parents would have seen that and gone, okay, we need to kind of look into this right now. In any logical sense, you know. But, you know, not just like, you know, you're okay, you're fine, and all of a sudden something happens, it flips a switch, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to kill people now. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, there's a progression.
Yeah,
of these things
exactly.
happening.
There's a psychological progression of bad things happening to you or things getting ignored to the point to where you pretty much, you know, either life screws you over or you have an abusive relationship with your family or something happens to where your mental capacity gets degraded over a period. And this doesn't happen within about a couple weeks or something. This happens over many years.
Yeah, you sort of slowly go insane. I don't know anybody who
Yeah,
sort of
exactly.
flicks the switch and maybe like temporarily, but not permanently.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of inconsistencies.
Yeah, but you don't really notice that your first time through because you're just reading the words and you're trying to figure out the concept and what it's trying to communicate, and you're like, oh dear God.
Yeah, exactly. But that's pretty much my take on the Jeff the Killer's story, and I'm kind of bashing it, but it is a good story if done right. It can be done right, but likelihood is 90% of the people who do it don't do it right.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to like bash on people, and I really shouldn't even be saying this, but even like some ordinary gamers, their version of it, I would have to say was the best version that I've heard personally, and that's only because he just pretty much gave it a dry read, and then after that, just pretty much gave his opinion on it after.
Yeah, I like SOG.
Yeah, their stuff is actually pretty good because they kind of give it they put some basis in reality on it versus like, you know, most of the traditional creepypasta people which just read it as if it's a true story, as if it's actually happening, and then there's nothing, you know.
Yeah, I try to do that because I feel like it would be more engaging if it sounded like it actually happened. Like, that's what I did for Blue Kings. Like, I didn't give it a dry read. I sort of tried to make it seem like I'd been through this ordeal. Actually, that's one where it could have been real.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually a good one to do realistically. Because
Yes.
it's airtight. Like, there's so much shit that can happen when you're hallucinating.
Yeah, exactly. Well, man, I'm out of time, so this was fun, and I had a blast doing this.
Yeah, me too.
But anyway, we're out of time, so I will catch you guys. I'll see you next time, and later, man.
All right.
Laters.
Bye.
Bye.